This is an A90 manual Toyota Supra. In this video, we are going to do suspension, clutch, alignment, geo, tyres, and a whole host of other things for round one. And then the car's going to come back and we're going to do round two.
Welcome to the SRD Tuning YouTube channel.
This is going to be the UK's most powerful and the most insane manual A90 Toyota Supra. So we're in this beautiful Mark 5 A90 Supra and it's got a shifter. We can actually change some gears without flappy paddles. So it's going to be brilliant for clutch kicking and drifting, but it is going to be the UK's most craziest A90 manual Supra, and we've already fitted the clutch and some other performance modifications as well. So let's crack on and get into the video.
First, we're pulling the gearbox to fit a PTB Racing twin plate dual mass clutch. This is going to handle way more power and give us that crisp engagement. Whilst at it, we're also ditching the delay valve for faster, more responsive shifts. This is a proper game changer. Let's get stuck in. First things first, let's get the car up in the air, safety and all of that. It's on the ramp and it's all secured. Battery disconnected, now let's strip it down. Under trays off, there is so many bolts. Exhaust dropped, drive shaft unbolted, and then that's set aside. The shifter linkage disconnected. This is where things get interesting. Now the bell housing bolts, a mix of easy access and absolute nightmare. Long extensions and patience, and some creative swearing along the way. It's just part of the job. With everything loose, it's time for the main event. The gearbox is heavy, about 70 kilos. It's precision engineered. It's fairly good, but the clutch just isn't going to handle the power. The transmission jack is your best friend here. Steady, controlled. Set it aside, angle it down, and just like that, it pops off the intermediate input shaft. And there it is. Well, that is it. That is the gearbox out of this A90 Toyota Supra. So once it's out, just get it on the jack stand and then safely remove it from under the vehicle so you can continue working on the car on the ramp going up and down. Best bit's off camera. I think you need to get them all.
Stay filming.
Stay filming.
Just film.
Just film. What was I saying? It's like, it's the death. I'm sure with the Pure 800 we'll make this box explode. Fitting instructions, assembly assistance. Yeah, that does look quite sexy. Oh, you got to change the release bearing. It's blue. BMW workshop manual said get a big effing gun and buzz all the flywheel bolts off. So that's exactly what we're doing.
Right, I'm ready, boss, I'm ready. All right, stuck on there now. Wow, one dual mass flywheel. She's f***ing heavy as well, isn't she? So with this clutch kit for the A90 Supra behind me, it comes with a new release bearing and a new pivot arm as well. So they've obviously got this well sorted and making sure they give you all of the components that you need to fit this clutch into the A90. We've also made a clutch flywheel locking tool as well for the A90. I actually didn't have one available in all of my special service tools to lock the flywheel, and because the radiator is so close to the front of the car and the front pulley bolt, we can't get a socket on it to hold it, so we've made a special SST locking tool for the flywheel. So torquing up the flywheel is done in 3 stages. It's 30, then 60, and then 120 newton meters. So you've got to do it right, and we're obviously Loctite all of these bolts as well.
Busy at work as always.
Don't just film me.
Why can't I just film you? I can film Sean as well. Sean's deep in thought.
So, contemplate my next move. I'm messaging the boss, okay?
Okay, you're messaging the boss.
I get it.
And the missus.
Say that on camera.
No.
So Sean and Bailey are doing an amazing job on this A90 Supra, and we've got to fit suspension on this car as well. So it's also having brake pads as well, some endless brake pads, but we want to make sure this car comes apart and goes back together exactly how it come apart. So every single nut and bolt is bagged and it's tagged, and we can assure that it goes back into the correct position from where it come from. Plus, every single nut and bolt will be torqued and marked with a pen. So that's how we track everything here at SRD Tuning. But as you can tell, all of these mods are for something in the future, which is going to be round 2 of the mods. The suspension's got KW and we've got top plates as well, so we can adjust the camber on the front of the car, and obviously the brakes need a bit of upgrading because we're actually going to push this car with a pure 800 and fuel system, and we're going to start to move the power up. But that's round 2, so this is round 1. Round 2 comes back, turbo, downpipe, intercooler, intake manifold and fuel system to bump this power on this A90 Toyota Supra to 750, maybe 780 horsepower. It's going to be right up there, but we're going to have a lot of fun bringing you all along to that journey as well. So carry on watching. There's a few little bits left, but I appreciate all of the watch time and you guys out there that are watching the channel and supporting us here at SRD Tuning. So yes, thank you very much for continuing to watch the channel.
Right, here we are. We have a brand new set of KW coilover suspension for this A90. And we've removed all the stock parts here, assemble it, set it up as best we can, out of the car, bolt it on the car, lower the car down, let it settle under its own weight. Go from there really, have a measure up and do some further adjustment. Got a toolkit, stickers, instructions, technical data, rear springs with helpers. So the rears aren't coilovers, strictly speaking, because the coil doesn't go around the strut. Rear dampers, fronts, these are for the rear springs. Yeah, so lots of new shiny parts to be getting on the car.
This is a geometry setup. These are the tracking pads, front and back. These are the lasers to track across the back and to go to the front tracking pads. And this is how you set one up. And behind me are all the camber caster bolts on all of the underside of the car that you have to chase around, because every time you adjust one, it throws out the front, and then you adjust that and it throws out the back, and you need to track the whole car. So it's a matter of adjust, bounce the car, adjust, until all the numbers are in the green or wherever you want to get them set up. Wow, so this is our car geometry setup, and look how far out they are. They are all over the place, and that is because obviously we've had all the suspension off, we've had new arms on the back, new toe arms on the back, new camber caster plates on the front, so I was expecting it to be really off, and it is really off. Now we've got to fight to get it within tolerance, so let's crack on.
So our final geo setup on this car is 8.7 degrees on caster on both front, 2.4 degrees camber, 0.2 degrees on toe, and then 2 degrees camber on the back and 0.3 degrees on the toe in on the rear. So this is going to give it a nice stable feel as well as be a fast road setup.
So we're out in this A90 Supra after its suspension mods, its HKS strut braces, its endless pads, its camber caster adjustable top mounts, and a new clutch as well, PTB Racing twin plate dual mass flywheel clutch. How does it feel? It feels pretty damn amazing. So the clutch pedal, nice and light, very OEM. That's the only way I could describe it. It feels like a very light pedal and plenty of biting point as well when you're pulling up the junctions and you're pulling away again. The biggest thing about this whole transformation with this car is the front end, how the steering is now improved and interacts with you. The A90 have always suffered from a little bit of understeer when you push them fairly hard, and I can tell straight away this feels so much better, so much better. Obviously a geo and an alignment on the car has improved it dramatically. They always seem to jiggle when you hit a cat's eye, or when you're hit, you know, a pothole. The back end of the car always kind of shuffles around with the A90s. This one, nothing. I've just run over some cat's eyes. I'll actually put it on the cat's eyes now. Not a single bit of jiggle. The car feels really planted and very positive to drive. But the feedback I'm getting from the steering is so much better than stock. It really is. And then the suspension, it's firm but not aggressive. It's not rock hard and like knock your teeth out when you drive the car. It still feels fairly supple when you're driving the car and the UK roads, but it just feels like the platform is level and stable. And say the gearbox, because this is a manual car, feels good and positive, and the shifts feel good. So I'm actually overall very happy with how the car feels and how it is handling, and the confidence that it's giving me through the feedback of the steering wheel is mighty. It makes me want to, you know, take this car on track and push it quite hard. We've also put a semi-cut slick tyre on this car, so it actually will go round corners and be very fun to drive. There's so much grip. The only thing I can notice from the tyres is slight tyre noise, but you always get that on an R888 or a AR1. You're always going to get some sort of tyre noise. But the steering and the way the car feels just makes me want to kind of throw it around a little bit. And there is so much front end bite with the car. That is the biggest thing that I have noticed. So the brakes feel sharp. Obviously still bedding in the brake pads, but over time the brakes will get sharper. So that's what I'm looking forward to as well, is that, you know, the brake pedal will come up a little bit and it'll feel a bit firmer. At the moment they feel good, they feel nice and sharp, but just you can tell that they are a new brake pad, and everybody that's had new brake pads fitted knows that the car doesn't stop as well once you've had the pads fitted until you've done the bedding in process. But the way that the car wants to dart around and the way it feels is mighty. It's mighty, and it's not too shabby as well. It's fairly fast, you know, as a stock, completely stock turbo, completely stock inlet, completely stock fuel system. They're pretty good out of the box. They are pretty good, but I can just heel and toe a little bit. Not that I need to, because it's got auto blips on the down changes, but I like to flip my feet and do some heel and toe. But I just want to push the car. There's loads of grip. There's not been any signs of wheel spin or traction loss. The weather's pretty good. It's very cold, but it is pretty good weather. Everything's dry, and this car is going to be really amazing out on a circuit, and I hope that the customer takes it out on a circuit to enjoy what he spent his money on, which is improving the platform, making sure that the car handles and goes around corners. I can't knock the geometry. The steering wheel is bang on center, and you can let go of the steering wheel and it tracks dead straight. So there's no strange kind of pulling around, even with the camber of the road. It feels really good to drive. So super happy with the geometry now and the way the car is set up and the way it feels. So that is it from me and my little road test. I just wanted to get a good feeling of what the car is going to feel like when you're on the limit, and it does feel great. But here's second gear, let's go for it. Yes, it feels so good. It feels stable, where before they don't. They kind of move around and shuffle around at the back and you're hanging on for a bit of traction, but this just goes, hooks and goes. There's no messing around. It hooks and goes. So the tyres, awesome. And once we bump the power to
750, 780, maybe 800 horsepower, this car is going to be an absolute weapon. So, manual gearbox, driver's car, on the brakes, heel and toe. It feels good. It does feel really, really good. So, super happy. Hope the customer is happy with the progress that the car's made, and the geometry of the car has transformed it for me. Absolutely transformed it, because from factory they just feel too nervous, and the front end now I just want to get traction controls kicking in there because I'm really trying to throw it around. It is fast, but it's also stable. It feels super, super stable, so you can enjoy it, push the car and have a lot of fun in it. From me and all of us here at SRD, make sure you click that notification bell, like and subscribe, and I'll be out in another car on the next one. Peace out.